The kettle clicks off like it's giving up on morning. Steam curling into nothing on the air. I pour the last of what you used to drink here, as if your absence might still care. The cup sits heavy on the chipped ceramic, brown water fading into dull regret. And every sip I never really finish is every word I can't forget. It's strange how bitterness can feel like home when you've been left to drink it all alone. It's a cold cup of chicory on a quieter kind of day, where even warmth forgets how long to stay. Every taste of it let go of a life that slipped away, too stubborn to dissolve, too tired to decay. I stir the silence like it might still turn to gold, but it only grows more distant as it goes cold. And I sit here learning what it means to carry on with a cold cup of chicory when you're gone. The sugar jar is nearly empty now, like sweetness learned it didn't belong. I used to think you needed less of everything. Now everything feels wrong. The spoon taps out a rhythm I don't recognize, like counting out the hours I survived. And every drop stains the porcelain, feels more alive than and I pretend the taste is just routine, not the shape of what you used to mean. It's a cold cup of chicory on a quieter kind of day, where even warmth forgets how long to stay. Every taste a little echo of a life that slipped away, too stubborn to dissolve, too tired to decay. I stir the silence like it might still turn to gold, but it only grows more distant as it goes cold. And I sit here learning what it means to carry on with a cold cup of chicory when you're gone. Maybe grief is just a drink you don't finish, left to cool while time forgets your name. And maybe every bitter little habit is just a love that stayed the same. Tonight I hold the cup a little longer, like warmth might return through will alone, but even Even memory refuses to be hotter than what's already gone. It's a cold cup of chicory, and I still pretend to try to find a version of us that didn't say goodbye. But the flavor only deepens into something I can't hold, a quiet kind of truth I've been told. And I drink it like a ritual I don't understand, while the world moves on just as it planned. And every bitter swallow teaches what I can't outrun, a cold cup of chicory, and you're gone. The cup stays full of shadows. The steam won't rise again, and every morning tastes like what I lost back then. I wrote your name on an envelope again. Out of habit I can't seem to break. The ink still trembles like it remembers you, even when my hands don't shake. The mailbox at the corner is rusting slowly, like it's given up on anything arriving there. But I still walk it like a sacred ritual, pretending you might somehow care. The postman stopped asking who it's for. He already knows what's coming to the door. I'm sending a letter to a dead address where you don't live anymore, stamping every sentence with what we couldn't confess, dropping memories through a closing door. No return reply, no forwarding trace, just ink falling into empty space. And I know it's foolish, but I do it anyway, right to the place you used to stay. The paper filled with things I never said out loud, apologies that never learned to land. I fold them carefully like they still matter, like you might hold them in your hand. The city changed its streets and numbers, but I still map my heart to where you were. Every line I write just circles back to silence. Every word becomes a blur, and the mailbox doesn't judge me when I come around. It just swallows everything without a sound. I'm sending a letter to a dead address where you don't live anymore, stamping every sentence with what we couldn't confess, dropping memories when love has lost its price. I'm sending a letter to a dead address, but I still hope for a sign, like maybe time made a clerical mistake somewhere and you're still technically mine. But the mail keeps going nowhere, slow to a place I already know, and every stamp I use just proves the pain I won't suppress. I'm writing to a dead address. And every word I send is just dust. The floorboards speaking quiet imperfections, each crack a story time refused to heal. I trace the grain like it might lead me somewhere, but it only circles what I feel. The table where we used to share our evenings still holds the rings your glass once left behind. And I sit across from absence in the lamplight, counting patterns in the pine. Every knot is just a memory gone dance, where something lived and turned into sense. I'm counting the knots in the wood again tonight, like they might explain where we lost the light. Each one a little moment that got frozen in the grain, a quiet mark of joy or maybe pain. The furniture remembers what we tried to forget, every scar a reminder I can't reset. And I stay here, trying not to come undone, counting knots in the wood till the night is done. You like still leans a little sideways, like it's tired of pretending it's intact. And I swear I hear your voice in the hollow spaces where the wood has started to crack. I run my hand across the worn-out surface, like I could read the past beneath my skin. But every line just leads me deeper inward, where the silence settles in. Even stillness has a way of telling truth. In every bruise, the timber held from youth. I'm counting the knots in the wood again tonight, like they might explain where we lost the light. Each one a little moment is done, maybe everything we love gets recorded in the grain of things we never noticed grow. And maybe time is just a patient carpenter carving out what we don't know tonight. I lean into the silence over at the table and let it carry everything I miss. And for a moment I believe the wood is listening to all of this. I'm counting the knots in the wood, but they keep changing shape, like memories that refuse to stay in one place. Every mark a little echo of a life I couldn't save, soft as dust and stubborn as a grave. And I realize the grain has always known more than I about how to hold the past without asking why. So I sit with all the things I can't outrun, counting knots in the wood till I'm done. The house grows quiet deeper, the shadows learn my name, and the wood keeps every secret it never once betrayed. The sky hangs low like it forgot its purpose. A sheet of gray stretched over tired streets, and every morning sounds a little emptier, like the world lost something it can't repeat. I see them perched above the silent highway, black shapes drawn against the fading light, like they're the only ones who still remember what it felt like when everything was right. They never ask why things fall apart, they just watch it all with patient hearts. There are crows on the power line, singing to the wind, like they know every ending that I've ever been in. They don't flinch at the distance, they don't fear the unknown. They just sit there together like they're never alone. And I wonder if they carry what I'm trying to outrun, like silhouettes against the setting sun, while I'm breaking in silence where I used to belong. The crows on the power line keep singing their song. The road below keeps stretching without mercy, think tomorrow meant redemption. Now it feels like just another loss. Your voice still flickers in the static of the evening. And every radio that fades too fast, like even sound can't stand to stay too long here. Like nothing good is built to last. And I count the poles like broken promises, each one another thing I couldn't fix. There are crows on the power line, singing to the wind, like they know every ending that I've ever been in. They don't flinch at the distance, they don't fear the unknown. They just sit there together like they're never alone. And I wonder if they carry what I'm trying to outrun. Black silhouettes against a setting sun, while I'm breaking in silence where I used to belong. The crows on the power line keep singing their song. Maybe they've seen every version of goodbye, every promise that dissolved into the sky. Maybe that's why they don't move when the storm rolls through. They already know what storms will do. If I could learn that stillness in their eyes, maybe I wouldn't feel so lost inside. The crows on the power line, never asking why, just holding on to nothing as the world goes by. They don't mourn the fading or the things left behind. They just trace every silence across space and time. And I stand here below them, trying not to come undone, while the day slips away like a setting sun. And I wish I could be as unbroken as the song. The crows on the power line keep singing along. The wind moves through the wires, but they don't move at all. Just watching everything I've lost from the edge of the call. The closet smells like cedar and old winters, where everything is folded but not gone. I pulled down all the sweaters you left hanging, like they might still remember you somehow. The fabric's thin in places I don't notice, until the light comes through and shows the truth. Little constellations eaten out by silence, where warmth once tried to stay with you. Even comfort doesn't survive untouched when nothing gets held on to long enough. Sweaters with moth holes and memories with cracks. Every stitch is something time won't give back. I wear them like forgiveness I don't fully understand, like I'm still reaching for your hand. The cold gets in through every little absence, through the spaces where your love used to pass in. And I swear I still feel you in the worn out threads I own. Sweaters with moth holes, keeping me alone. The sleeves are stretched where you once pulled them tighter, on nights when everything felt less unsure. Now they hang like hollowed out reminders of a warmth I can't restore. I try to mend them with the needle of pretending, but some things fray no matter what you do. And every patch just makes the damage clearer, like it's teaching me the truth. The smallest things are where it hurts the most, and what remains of what we used to hold close. Sweaters with moth holes and memories with cracks. Every stitch is something time won't give back. I wear them like forgiveness I don't fully understand, like I'm still reaching for your hand. The cold gets in through every little absence, through the spaces where your love used to pass in. And I swear I still feel you in the worn out threads I own. Sweaters with moth holes, keeping me alone. Maybe love is just something that gets eaten slowly by quiet things we never see at first. And we don't notice all the missing pieces until the fabric starts to hurt. Tonight I hold the one you used to borrow, press it close like it could bring you near. But even fabric learns to let things go when no one's here. Sweaters with moth holes and a heart worn thin, trying to remember where you ended and I begin. Every thread I pull just makes the silence overflow from all the places warmth used to go. And I keep wearing everything you left behind alone, like come The closet stays half open. The winter doesn't end, and everything I wear now is just what used to mend. The path behind the fields is cracked and quiet, where water used to sing against the stones. Now dust collects in all the shallow places, like even memory has bones. I swear I still can hear it in the distance, a trickle that my mind won't let me lose. But every step I take confirms the silence of everything we used to choose. It's strange how something living can erase without a trace of what it used to say. The creek dried up and nobody noticed when it changed. Just a slow disappearance of the shape it used to make. All the skipping stones are resting where the water used to go, like laughter turned to echoes in the low. I stand here at the edge of what once carried us along, listening for a current that is gone. And I don't know how to follow what I can't hold on to. The creek dried up like we did too. The willows lean like they are still expecting a reflection that will never come again. And every fish we used to watch together is only memory and sand. The bridge still crosses nothing but the absence. It's boards remembering every footstep past, and I walk it like I'm trying to recover a world that didn't last. Even nature learns to let things go in ways we never really want to know. The creek dried up and nobody noticed when it changed. Just a slow disappearance of the shape it used to make. All the skipping stones are resting where the water used to go, like laughter turned to echoes in the low. I stand here at the edge of what once carried us along, listen for a current that is gone. And I don't know how to follow what I can't hold on to. The creek dried up like we did too. Maybe everything that flows will one day stop, not with a crash, with a quiet drop. And maybe love is just a stream that disappears when the seasons turn to years. Tonight I kneel in what remains of motion and feel the heat of ground that once was cool, and realize the hardest kind of ending is something natural and true. The creek dried up, but I still come here anyway, like I might find a version of yesterday. But all I find is silence where the water used to run, a story left unfinished, undone. And I trace the riverbed like it might lead me back to you, but it only shows me what is true. Some things don't break, they simply drift away and stop. The creek dried up, the earth stays still, the sky stays wide, and everything that moved here has gone to hide. Winter packed its bags and left the valley. The rivers found their voices once again. The trees put on their coats of green forgiveness, and the world moved on like nothing ever happened. But out behind the barn, beside the hillside, hidden where the sunlight seldom goes, there's a lonely piece of yesterday still holding on, the last patch of snow. While the seasons keep turning without a pause, some hearts stay frozen because they never got a cause. I'm like the last patch of snow in a warming spring, watching life return to everyone and everything. The flowers have their colors, the birds have their songs, but I still carry winter long after it's gone. You left months ago, but I can't seem to let go. I'm melting slow beneath the weight of what I know. A forgotten piece of heartbreak nobody else can see. The last patch of snow is me. The neighbors laugh on porches in the evening. Children race their bicycles down the lane. The sky stays bright much longer than it used to, yet every sunset still whispers your name. I tried to follow where the future led me, tried to bloom like every rose that grows, but every step I take returns me to that shaded place, like the last patch of snow. And though the world says healing comes with time, time can't thaw a memory that's buried deep inside. I'm like the last patch of snow in a warming spring, watching life return to everyone and everything. The flowers have their colors, the birds have their songs, but I still carry winter long after it's gone. You left months ago, but I can't seem to let go. I'm melting slow beneath the weight of what I know. A forgotten piece of heartbreak nobody else can see. The last patch of snow is me. Maybe one day even this cold sorrow will disappear into the earth below. Maybe grief is just another season that leaves a little longer than we're told. But tonight the moon shines pale upon the hillside, and in its silver glow I finally know some things vanish quietly without a sound, just like the last patch of snow. I'm the last patch of snow at the edge of the year, holding on to traces of a love that isn't here. The meadow keeps growing where our shadows used to fall, and nature doesn't stop to mourn at all. But every drop that leaves me carries part of you away. A little more surrender with each warmer day. Soon there'll be nothing left but the memory of the cold, where the last patch of snow once held on to hold. Tomorrow the hillside may finally be bare. The spring breeze may erase the last of what remains. But somewhere in the rivers running toward the sea, a piece of you will still be flowing through me. The kettle sings, then forgets its purpose. Steam fading into a tired kitchen light. Two mugs sit like unanswered questions, one untouched since you left that night. sugar jar still waits for your decision. You always said I used too much or none at all. Now every morning feels like repetition of pouring something I don't recall. Time drips slower when no one replies, like even warmth learns how to die. The tea went cold again while I wasn't looking, left too long between the memory and the brewing. Like every shared moment we never learned to hold, it loses all its heat when the silence takes control. I stir the empty cup like it might bring you back somehow, but there's nothing in the steam that feels like now. Just a taste of what we were before it all fell apart. The tea went cold again, just like my heart. The window fogs up with forgotten conversations, words we never finished saying out loud. The chair across from me still holds your outline, though it's only shadows in the crowd. I try to drink it anyway, pretend it's bitter comfort, like maybe warmth can be remembered if I try. But even memory has limits it won't cross over, and everything familiar learns to say goodbye. And the spoon keeps turning in the same slow spin, like it's searching for the moment you were in. The tea went cold again while I wasn't looking, left too long between the memory and the brewing. Like every shared moment we never learned to hold, it loses all its heat when the silence takes control. I stir the empty cup like it might bring you back somehow, but there's nothing in the steam that feels like now. Just a taste of what we were before it all fell apart. The tea went cold again, just like my heart. Maybe warmth was never meant to linger, maybe it's just a visitor that passes through. And I keep setting places out of habit for someone who no longer comes home to. Tonight I let the kettle rest in silence, no more waiting for a sign or sound, because even love, like boiling water, eventually settles down. The tea went cold again, but I still remember how it felt to share a moment we thought would last forever. Now the cups are just reminders of a time I can't unfold. Steam is gone, the silence stays, and even warmth learns to decay. The moving truck pulled out before the sunrise, leaving tire marks where our future used to be. The house echoed with a strange kind of silence, like the walls were learning how to grieve. I started with the boxes in the hallway, old coffee mugs and photographs we'd framed. Then I found the blankets folded in the corner, and suddenly nothing felt the same. Every thread still carried traces of your touch, and I realized I wasn't ready for this much. I'm unpacking your throws in an empty living room, shaking out the memories and the dust of our undoing. The blue one from December, the gray one from the fall, wrapped around 100 nights. I can't forget it all. I'm folding up the comfort that once kept out the cold, trying not to break apart with every fabric that I hold. Who knew a pile of blankets could hurt me like they do? I'm unpacking your throws and unpacking you. There's one that smells faintly of cedar and perfume, though the years have tried their best to make it fade. You'd pull it close while reading by the window, as rain tapped gentle rhythms on the pane. I remember all the movies we have watched, falling asleep before the credits rolled. Now the couch feels like a monument to absence, and every cushion feels cold. Some people leave through doors and disappear from sight. Others linger in the objects left behind. I'm unpacking your throws in an empty living room, shaking out the memories and the dust of our undoing. The blue one from December, the gray one from the fall, wrapped around 100 nights. I can't forget it all. I'm folding up the comfort that once kept out the cold, trying not to break apart with every fabric that I hold. Who knew a pile of blankets could hurt me like they do? I'm unpacking your throat doesn't vanish when the leaving starts. Maybe it hides in ordinary things, in the places where a shoulder once leaned gently, in the warmth forgotten blankets still can bring. I pressed one to my chest and closed my eyes. For a second you were standing here again. Then the silence settled softly all around me, and reality stepped back in. I'm unpacking your throes as the daylight fades away, sorting through the pieces that your absence chose to leave. The colors haven't faded, but the life inside them has, like photographs that slowly lose the past. I'm packing up the comfort that I thought would always stay, watching little pieces of our story slip away, and every folded blanket feels like one more sad goodbye. I'm unpacking your throes while learning how to cry. The boxes are all empty now, the room is still in blue, but the hardest thing I carried wasn't them, it was you. The lamp still hums the way you liked it, quieter, a golden circle fading into dust. 3 books are stacked like promises abandoned, spines unbroken by our trust. You mark the pages you were meaning to return to, faint creases where your fingers almost stayed. And now they sit like questions with no answers, waiting for a voice that never came. It's strange how stories pause without an ending, when no one's left to keep them from descending. There are unread books on the nightstand gathering time, like the life we meant to live between the lines. Every chapter holds a version of us we never knew, because we never made it through. I still trace the titles like they might explain the pain, but they only gather dust again. like memory escaping between pages neither of us turn. I hear your voice in borrowed sentences from the words we never learned. The paper edge is yellow with forgetting, but somehow never fully fade. Like everything we didn't say out loud here, still quietly gets made. And every story that we left half told feels heavier than anything we hold. There are unread books on the nightstand gathering time, like the life we meant to live between the lines. Every chapter holds a version of us we never knew, because we never made it through. One by one, maybe love is just a library of almost, shelved in rooms we never fully lit. And maybe every ending we avoid reading still knows how to sit. Tonight I open one just for a moment, then close it like I can't go inside. Because some stories aren't meant to be finished, they're just meant to survive. There are odd books on the nightstand still untouched, like everything we wanted but never became enough. Each page a little echo of a future we withdrew, a life we never grew into. Between the silence and the spine of what we've done, where every story ends before it's begun. And I keep them like reminders of a love I can't outrun. Unread books on the nightstand. And by one, the lamp grows dim, the room grows slow, and all the stories we abandoned still softly glow. The sunlight hits the window like a habit, not warm enough to make me feel alive. I go through motions just to feel less static, pretending something here might still survive. The plastic leaves are dusted like they're real ones. I water them like memory requires care. And for a second I can almost fool myself that something in this house is there. If I keep pretending long enough, maybe absence starts to feel like love. I'm watering fake plants in a quiet, empty room, trying to make something grow out of nothing that I lose. Every drop just disappears into a hollow kind of show, like I'm feeding life to things that I'll never know. But I still pour my heart into what was never meant to be, just shadows of a garden that won't ever need me. And I stand here believing what I already understand. I'm watering fake plants. The soil is just a memory of texture, a decoration made to look like earth. But I kneel down like there's something sacred in giving meaning to what has no worth. The neighbors think I've got a peaceful morning, a life that's softly growing on its own. They don't see the quiet kind of longing in every place I've tried to call my home. And I tell myself it's better this way, to care for things that never fade away. I'm watering fake plants in a quiet, empty room, trying to make something grow out of nothing that I lose. Every drop just disappears into a hollow kind of show, like I'm feeding life to things that I'll never know. But I still pour my heart into what was never meant to be, just shadows of a garden that won't ever need me. And I stand here believing what I already understand. I'm watering fake plants. Maybe I don't know how to stop pretending that something broken still can bloom, so I give attention to the unresponsive and call it something close to truth. I touch the leaves like they might answer back, but they stay exactly what they are. And I realize I've been tending emptiness like it was something in my heart. I'm watering fake plants and they never say a word, just accept the care I give like it's deserved. And maybe I'm the only one still trying to believe in a life that never needed me. Every drop of effort falls into the same disguise, a quiet little lie I recognize. But I to hold me, no growth to find, just me and what I made up inside my mind. We started with a handful of good intentions, a blueprint sketched in hopeful, trembling lines. You said we'd build a home where we could weather anything, and I believed your heart was tied to mine. Brick by brick we gathered all our memories, the laughter, the late nights, the dreams we never said. But somewhere in the silence between the questions and the pride, we built a wall instead. Every word we didn't say became another stone, until standing side by side still felt alone. We built a wall instead of a doorway to each other, turned our fears into a fortress and our wounds into a cover. Now I can hear your heartbeat, but I can't reach where you've been. We're living in the same house, separated from within. We thought we were building shelter from the storms above our heads, but somewhere along the way we built a wall instead. Your photograph still hangs beside the window, like a ghost refusing to leave the room. The sunlight touches half your smiling face, while the other half is swallowed by the gloom. I remember when your voice could calm the chaos, when your hand could make the darkest evenings bend. Now every conversation feels like shouting through concrete at the wall we built instead. Every compromise we missed became another layer high, and neither one of us could ask the other why. We built a wall instead of a doorway to each other, turned our fears into a fortress and our wounds into a cover. Now I can hear your heartbeat, but I can't reach where you've been. We're living in the same house, separated from within. We thought we were building shelter from the storms above our heads, but somewhere along the way we built a wall instead. Maybe every stone was just a cry for understanding, a desperate attempt to keep from falling apart. But defenses become prisons when they're left standing, and the strongest walls can break the softest hearts. I stand here with my hands against the cold gray surface, tracing cracks that neither one of us can mend. And I wonder what we'd find beyond it now, if we could tear it down again. We built a wall instead of a bridge across the distance, mistook our stubborn silence for a kind of strong resistance. Now the echoes of I love you fade like footprints in the rain, and every room is crowded with the absence and the pain. We thought we were protecting all the fragile things we had, but the wall became the reason everything went bad. Now the only thing between us is regret that never ends, because we needed love and trust, but we built a wall instead. The house is still standing, but the warmth has disappeared, and the wall we built together is all that's left here. The sidewalk still remembers what we drew that day. Two stick figures holding hands too big for their lines. We laughed and said forever like it couldn't fade away, like time would stop and read between the signs. The wind was soft, the summer light was careless, and every mark felt like it would outlast the years. We didn't know the ground keeps no confessions, it only waits and disappears. And I should have known how fragile promises can be, when even the earth won't keep a memory. We wrote it in chalk, and the rain learned our names, washed away the outlines of our little paper flames. Every word we trusted turned to streaks down the street, like love was just a drawing that the weather had to eat. I still trace the faded places where you used to stand so near, but everything we made is barely here. Just a ghost on concrete where we swore we'd never break. We wrote it in chalk for our own mistake. The schoolyard grew up faster than we did, painted over all the lines we used to cross. New voices echo where we carved our story, but nothing stays the cost. Sometimes I walk there in the evening, when the light makes old cracks look like gold, and I swear I see our younger selves still kneeling, refusing to grow. But the pavement doesn't care what we believe, it just erases what it can receive. We wrote it in chalk, and the rain learned our names, washed away the outlines of our little paper flames. Every word we trusted turned to streaks down the street, like love was just a drawing that the weather had to read. I still trace the faded places where you used to stand so near, but everything we made is barely here, just a ghost on concrete where we swore we'd never break. We wrote it in chalk for our own dismay. Maybe we were never meant for permanence, just passing sketches on a borrowed ground. And maybe love is only beautiful because it never knows the moment it breaks down. I've been down where our names once lingered, and feel the dust where certainty once grew. And I realize what we called forever was something the sky already knew. We wrote it in chalk, and the sky took it back. Every promise turned to pale and fading tracks. The world didn't argue, it just let us believe, then quietly showed us how easy it is to leave. And I still see your outline when the light hits just right, like a memory refusing to lose the fight. But every step I take reminds me what we used to make. We wrote it in chalk and watched it fade away. The sidewalk is empty now. No names, no lines, no spark. Just the quiet truth of chalk in the dark.